you've been following me over here, then guess what? You're an OG, baby. Yes, you are. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so happy you decided to join us on this crazy ride. If you're not following me here on YouTube, then what are you doing? Join the fam, bam. Skymar Nation would be happy to have you a part of the family. Period. Get into it. And if you're not following me over on TikTok, come on, what are you doing? You need to go join us over there too. You know. I will leave the TikTok accounts listed in the description because yes, I do have to. Alright, y'all, so let me stop acting goofy and get serious because today is a serious topic. So, I'm sorry if I look crazy today. We going all natural. I hope it's not a rule that you have to have your face fully beat up on here for story times. Because if it is, I'm feeling highly in that area. But today is a more serious topic, more serious story time. So I have told y'all that I'm a recovering addict. I have told y'all that I have been arrested. But I have never went into details about my arrest because, quite frankly, I'm ashamed of it. It is a part of me now, and it's made me who I am today, and maybe through telling my story I can help others, but it doesn't change the fact that I am ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it by any means, and that's not who I am. That is what my addiction caused me to become. And I live with that guilt every day. So, you know, I've always been the type to want to help people, but I really go out of my way to do it now, because if I can help mend any of the pain that I caused anyone else by helping someone else, then that's what I want to do. Even though it's never really going to fix what I did, you know. And it's just crazy because people don't realize exactly how much addiction changes a person. The things that I've done under addiction, I would never do sober, and that's just facts. And my track record alone since I've been clean show that. That's not who I am at all. So it's hard for me to be honest about this and then put it out to the whole world. I'm putting myself in a very vulnerable spot right now, and you know, I have so many people that love me, care about me, and support me. I would never want anything in my past to cause them to think badly of me. And I'm not gonna lie, once y'all hear this story time, y'all will think negatively of me. I can't even speak. I want y'all to also know that I don't think anything about this is funny, but at times you might see me laugh. I do laugh through my pain when I get nervous, when I'm talking about something uncomfortable, so I don't want y'all to think at any point during the story I think it's funny, because it's not. It's not cool. And I was a complete fool. Now, in order to tell this story time, and I guess y'all would probably like to know what story time I will be talking about today. For those of you who do not know, I am a recovering addict. I have been clean 8.5 years, with the exception of one relapse that happened in 2014. I did start my clean date all over. However, after speaking with my counselor, she broke it down to me like this. She said, you had one relapse. You didn't continue to use, and you had all that clean time, so why would you take all your clean time away from yourself due to one relapse? So now I just say I've been clean 8.5 years, with the exception of one relapse. I hate having to say that, but I feel that if I don't mention the relapse that I'm not being genuine or something. I don't know. Maybe it's in my head. That's just how it is. It's a complete mindfuck 24/7. But yeah, so today's story time is going to be about the arrest that happened during my relapse, because like I said, I had a relapse in 2014, and when that relapse took place, I messed up, and I messed up big time. I got into a lot of trouble that night. a lot of trouble. You know, I've always said when it comes to me, I don't mess up just a little bit. It's go big or go home, baby. You know, so when I mess up big time. In order to tell this story, I have to be honest about something. You know, honesty is the best policy. If you have really changed into a better person, then you have to be honest, right? When this relapse took place and I got in trouble and the father of my kids ended up finding out about it, this is so hard for me to do because, you know, I'm really holding myself accountable right now and really putting some vulnerable stuff out there to y'all. When that relapse took place and the father of my kids found out, I lied to him and told him it's not what he thought. I told him a story about something that really did happen. It just didn't happen at this point in time, and no police were ever involved. So I basically made up a story and told him because first of all, I was ashamed of the charges. I was ashamed that I had been arrested. And I knew with the situation, because if you don't know the situation with my kids, I really can't go into detail about anything or talk about anything too much. But I've not seen my kids in 7 years. I do have custody of them. There's just a lot of things that have happened, and I cannot, like I said, I cannot talk about it really, but I haven't seen them in that long. So I was scared that if the father of my kids knew the truth, that would just be one extra thing that he would have over my head, one extra thing that he would use against me. So I wasn't honest about it. And sometimes we lie about things in order to protect our family. And it's not something I'm proud of. I should have just been honest from get-go. But when every little thing you do is used against you and your concerning your children, you almost feel like you have to lie and cover things up. I didn't feel like I could be honest, you know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. It is what it is. I lied. Flat out lied. Like I said, the story that I gave him did happen. It just didn't happen at that point in time, and no police were ever involved. So I'm about to give you the real version of what happened. Please keep in mind, I was in active addiction when this took place. This is not who I am as a person. I hope that even after hearing this story time and others that I tell you later down the road, that you still support me. I hope you don't look at me any differently. I'm really scared to put this out there. I'm scared that people are gonna hate me because I hate myself so much for it. So how can someone else not hate me? But I hope if anybody could take away anything from this story time, that they learn that drugs don't solve anything. All it does is make everything worse. You think it's numbing your pain, and it might be for a little while, but when that high is gone, those problems are still there. That the addiction does nothing but rob everything from you. It takes away everything from you, and it changes you as a person. So if I can help one person by telling my story, then it's all worth it. Please find healthy ways to cope with the situations that you have been through or are going through. Don't go taking all these drugs where it clouds your judgment, your mind, changes you as a person. Because like I stated many times already, this is not who I am, but this is who the addiction made me become. And that's something I will live with for the rest of my life. I will hold that guilt for the rest of my life. Without further delay, let's get into it. Please forgive me if I start thinking back, because you know, I tried not to think about this stuff, but I mean, I do, because I live with the guilt. Okay, so in order... Hey, it's Christina. Sorry to interrupt the story time, but I felt like this was very important to add into here, because I did miss some pointers through the story time. Please forgive me for that. I will get better at telling these stories. I should have sat down, thought about it a lot more before I proceeded to tell it. However, here I am now to make sure y'all understand some stuff. So, these girls, I had said that I have went on break to smoke marijuana. Even after getting clean, I still smoked weed for a long time. I personally have different views than most people about marijuana. I do look at it more as a medicine. That's just how it is. It does have a lot of medical benefits to it. It also helps people a lot in the mental illness area. So I personally don't see nothing wrong with smoking weed. I choose not to now, for reasons I won't get into. But so when I talk about that, that's what I mean by that, because I had been smoking weed with them on break. They just happened to have pills that day, and what caused me to just say screw it and go ahead and use is I was tired of feeling the pain. I just wanted to numb myself, and I got it in my head, well, I've been clean all this time. I'll be okay. It's not going to hurt me. One day of getting hot is not going to hurt me, and it absolutely did. It hurt me a lot, and it caused me to do stupid things that hurt others. Also, when I talk about going to my dealer's house, that's also what I mean. I used to buy weed from him. I knew that he sold other things, so I knew if I wanted to buy other things I could, and of course he did not say no when I asked about it. Did he know that I had been clean? He did. He knew I was in recovery. Did he try to stop me? No, but he's a dealer. He makes money, so that's just how it is. Now, when I woke up in the jail and the detective was talking to me and all that, I remember waking up and being like, what are you doing, Christina? What are you doing? You know that this is not going to fix anything. You know it's going to take everything from you. So you got two choices. You can be the sober mother your kids need and deserve, or you could completely screw up your life even more than you already have. You can lose everything that you worked so hard for. You can end up losing your kids for good, and everything others have said about you is going to look true. I picked sobriety and being a sober mother for my kids. And that's how I ended up getting and staying clean. That night knocked me for a loop, and I most definitely learned my lesson. You think I would have learned my lessons all the other times before. But it wasn't, I don't think it was really about that. I think it just shows you how strong addiction is. I mean, and it will play off your emotions, especially at your most vulnerable times. As a matter of fact, when I fell into addiction, I was going through some vulnerable stuff. So it latches onto you at your weakest moments. But I just wanted to jump in here, make them things clear real quick, because I noticed that I didn't make them very clear through the story time. That way you are like, well, what does she mean by this and this and this? So I wanted you to know. So, sorry, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the story time, and I hope you take away a very valuable lesson from it. So yeah, to tell you about the story, we have to go back a little bit, and we have to get to what led up to the relapse, correct? Okay, so if you did not know, February 2012, I had originally got clean. This is my second time getting clean. I was clean a year prior, had relapsed, been back in active addiction for a few months, maybe a little longer than that. DCS got back into my life because I have had DCS in my life 2 times. The first time was for 4 months. The second time was for 6 months, and while I was getting clean, my kids did have to go stay with their father. So I relapse and I'm using, and DCS gets back involved in my life, which I will talk about that story at a later date of how they got back involved in my life, which is going to be a hard one to tell. But so I got clean February 2012. Then I'm doing real good. Stay clean. And then December 2013 come along, and that is when my kids has started being kept away from me. So honestly, without my kids, I am an empty shell. I am nothing. I had nothing to look forward to anymore. The pitter-patters of hearing their footsteps running around were a distant memory at that point, or it seemed like it was just growing more distant. I felt lost. I felt lonely. I felt dead inside, and honestly I feel like I was getting to the point where I didn't want to live no more. If I didn't have my kids, I did not want to live. I did not want to go on. So May of 2014 comes around, and I had been clean all that time, but I was just really getting into a bad headspace. You know, I didn't have the money to fight for my kids, to take the father of my kids to court. I just felt hopeless, and I was working at Hardee's in Chattanooga at this time, and can't believe I messed up so bad, but I did. So I go to work one day, and some of the girls that are there, they have pills or whatever, and I've been smoking weed before with them. We would go on break and we would smoke weed, whatnot, but this day they ended up having pills, and I honestly can't remember what they all had. I know there was some Roxy's, Opana, I believe, as well involved, and I also got paid that day. So I done took all that at work, which, you know, uppers never really did anything to me. They certainly didn't make me go out and do stupid shit like steal. It just gave me energy and stuff. So after work, I go cash my check. Remind you, I have gotten paid at this day, right? And I honestly, a lot of it's blurry, I won't lie, so I'm going to tell you basically what I can remember. I remember getting Xanaxes. See, this is when any arrest I ever had during active addiction was due to Xanaxes. Freaking Xanaxes. And I started out taking Xanaxes for anxiety, and when I took them properly, it really did help me for what it needed to. But over time, when my kids would go to their fathers, I learned that taking more than what I was supposed to relaxed me and zoned me out. And then it got to a point when my kids went to their dads, it was bottles up, literally. My husband and I also went to the doctor, because my husband does legit have back problems and stuff, so he got better stuff than I did. I have back problems too, but they didn't give me everything that they gave him. So the medicine he was supposed to be taking for his back, I would be taking to get high. So but him going to the doctor has nothing to do with this. I'm just saying that's how, when I would get Xanaxes, I didn't get them very often, but when I did, it was a party, okay? So somehow I get Xanaxes. Now I done took the Roxy, I done took some Opana, now Xanax comes into play. And I honestly, I think I went to one of my dealer's house and got it, and then, but I don't think so. I can't remember how I got the Xanaxes. I don't know if it was from the girls at work, because I know even after all this happened and I ended up at my dealer's house, I was buying more Xanaxes. It's all a big blur, so I'm sorry, I really can't remember. All I know is Xanaxes, I got Xanaxes, okay? And I can't even tell you how many I took, but I took enough to do some damage, because before I know it, and at the time all this is going on, I feel normal. I don't even feel like anything's wrong, right? I feel like I have a little buzz or whatever, but I feel like I'm in my right state of mind. I end up at the Walmart, which is right next door to the Hardee's. And this is so, God, I cannot believe this. I start panhandling, legit panhandling. I just gotten paid, but I start panhandling. Make it make sense. If that ain't, if drugs, that's all I can say about that, drugs. Because, what? So I end up in the Walmart parking lot, and I'm panhandling, and the lady has given me $100. I do remember that, because I couldn't believe how nice she was. She literally asked me if I needed help. I can't remember what I told her. She drove next door to the bank, come back, and brought me that money. She gave me $100. She was a very kind soul. And I had some other people give me money. So not only have I gotten paid now, I've done panhandle and people have given me money. So this goes to show you what drugs do to you, because there was no reason to do anything that I did after this. Oh God, I feel sick when I talk about this. I'm in the Walmart parking lot, and I go from panhandling to opening people's doors on their car. And you know, I remember hearing stories of people doing stuff like this, and I'd be like, how could they go into someone's car and take their hard-earned, you know, the stuff they worked hard for? And here I am doing it. So don't judge people. You never know if you catch yourself in that predicament. I was going through people's cars. Now, I didn't get anything until I come to this one particular car. I only went into a couple of cars, and then I ended up at this one car, and it had a tablet. Now, I don't know what it is with me and stealing things that can be tracked under the influence, but I honestly believe that was my cry out for help, and God allowing me to be caught so I could learn my lesson. I really don't know. But this isn't the first thing I've ever took with a tracker. It was an iPad or something to that effect. And I turned it off. And I left. God, I'm such an idiot. Then I go to the Target. Then I go to the Target and I start looking at the cars in their parking lot. I come across one, and you could see money in their cup holder. I think it was like 40 bucks or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't really remember. I think it was 40 bucks though. And Lord forgive me. And I busted their window out of their car, took the money, and ran like hell. So I've been in a few cars at this point, and all I've taken, I had took a purse as well. There was a purse that was left in a car. But there, from my knowledge, there was nothing in it. It was just a bunch of papers. I don't think it was like a purse that someone put their money and stuff in. It was just in the car with a bunch of junk and stuff in it. And I remember, since there wasn't nothing in there, placing it in the trash can. God, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. And I get out of there. I get back to my car. I'm driving. Now, one thing about me, I am totally against driving under the influence. But when I have Xanaxes in my system and enough to the point that I'm deliberated, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't even feel like I can feel buzzed in that moment, but I'll think that I'm completely fine and everybody else is looking at me and I'm slurring and stuff, you know? And it reminds me of when I've seen other people on Xanaxes before. They're completely abbreviated, whatever that word is, okay? And you know they're not in their right state of mind, but they think they are, you know what I mean? That is what it does. And like things will, like you can remember certain pieces, but other pieces you can't. It's very blurry and stuff. That's how it is. I get to my car and I drive to my dealer's house because now I need to get some more pills, some weed. I hope I'm allowed to say all this on a video. I got to go get my stuff, basically. And I go over there. God, I'm such an idiot. I go over there and we're smoking because, you know, I always smoked with him. I bought from him and then smoked my shit with him. But anyways, and I remember saying that I need to go out to the store. Now, I guess my dealer knew that I was fucked up because his son absolutely loves me. And he wanted to go to the store with me. And I already knew that I had been taking stuff, so off the rip, I'm like, absolutely not, no. And he kept begging me, and his dad looked at him and he said, you're not going with her. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't be putting my damn son in the car with my ass either. So I head to the store. I'm supposed to be going to the store to get more cigarillos. And this is another thing. That just goes to show you how sorry that dealer was. He wasn't my damn friend. He could give two shits less about me. He was just there for one thing, and that is to make money off me, because he didn't try to say, hey, you don't need to drive. You don't need to be behind the wheel. Nothing. He just let me go. Just let me go. Yeah. So, you ain't got no friends up in this game, I promise you that. And if you do, it's far few and in between. So I go to the store. Now, at one point, I guess when I got to his house, I had showed him the iPad, and I don't know why I turned it on, because you never turn on a device and be tracked. But I did. And that's why I think that God was trying to save me by allowing me to get caught. I turned the thing on. I turned the thing. Watch your mouth, Christina. I turned the thing on. So I go to the store, and I get back to his house, the dealer's house, and the police are searching the ditches right around his house, and I didn't want them going and knocking on my dealer's door. He didn't give two shits about me driving, but I'm sitting there trying to protect him anyways. But I didn't want nobody getting in trouble for my shit. And when I seen all them police there, I'm like, you dummy, you turned it on, and they done tracked it. So I made a point to skirt out that bitch because I wanted them to hear my car leaving. So they followed me and got away from my dealer's house. Because his son's in there, his dad's in there that's fighting cancer, and you know what I mean? So I just wanted to make sure they didn't go to his house. So I went skirt where they could hear it, and you see all their heads turn. They jump in the car and they come after me, and I'm gassing it. I'm going. I already know I'm going to get called, and I'm not going to really run that far. I just wanted to get them away from the dealer's house, okay? So I skirt off, and I'm driving, and I come to a bridge. I'm like, okay, you got to stop, because they are on your ass. I'm talking about there was 10, 15 cop cars. They were not playing with my ass, okay? So I pulled over, and they have that little intercom thing, and they're like, get out of the car, or whatever the hell they said. Honestly, I can't really remember the exact wording. I get out of the car, and I remember I stick my hands out the door because I'm scared they're going to shoot my ass. I stick my hands out the door, and all I see is these lasers on me. I'm like, oh my God, they dead ass got lasers on me right now. They about to shoot my ass. I'm like, please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. And they like back up slowly. And all I can focus is these freaking red dots on my damn chest. I'm so scared they're going to shoot me. And I start backing up slowly. Finally, they grab my hands and they cuff me and put me in the back of the cop car. And I don't even remember honestly getting to the jail too much. It's all a big blur. I think I started just getting more intoxicated the more time went on, and I don't know how much shit I done did before they caught me. I need to stop saying So all I really remember is waking up in the jail. So I don't know if I got to jail and was put in the holding cell and I just conked out. I don't know what happened. All I know is I woke up in the jail and all I see is this bald-headed detective standing in front of me, and I don't feel good, and I'm like, what the fuck have you done, Christina? Excuse my French. And the police officer's asking me all these questions, and I go ahead and tell the truth. I've always told, anytime I've ever got caught, I've always been upfront and honest right there, because I felt like if I lied, it would just screw me over more. And then, so I tell them everything I remember, which even at that point, everything's a big blur. Like, I remember pieces, other pieces I don't. I tell them the only thing that was taken was $40 and an iPad. I tell them that I threw away someone's purse that had nothing but junk in it. And the iPad was like under $1,000, I think. I can't really remember. I think it was like $900 and something when I looked up the value of it. But they got their stuff back. They did get their stuff back. I can't remember if anybody got their $40 back. I don't think they did. But the person whose iPad I took did get that back. Now, some other stuff happened that day as well. And this is all in between me getting back to the dealer's house, and I almost forgot about this, so let me go ahead and tell you what I done did. So when I got messed up on Xanaxes, normally my thought process was, let me go after this person because they did me dirty. So I've never just stolen from a random person up until the Walmart parking lot thing. And I really never stole from people in general. But if I did, until I got fucked up on Xanaxes, but if I did, it would normally be people that have done me wrong, because that's how I justified it in my addictive brain. So I don't know how I ended up doing that at the Walmart, but I did. Now, sometime in between all this and me getting to the dealer's house and the police catching me and stuff, I end up at my mom's house, okay? And I'm so fucked up. I sneak in her house, through her window. Oh my God. And, God. And I took her check. And that's a big blur. And I took her little Android tablet thing. And I leave her house. And I don't know why, but about an hour or two later, I don't know how long it was, honestly, I end up back at her house trying to climb back through her window. But this time my mom surprises me at the window, because her roommate had heard me in her bedroom and called my mom at work and was like, I think your daughter has done snuck in the house or something, or someone has snuck in the house. Something's happened. I can't remember what she told my mom. So when I go to raise my mom's window back up, my mom's standing at the window, and she said that I didn't even look like myself. She said she didn't even recognize me when she looked at me, that I looked so abbreviated or whatever. And she said, I didn't even recognize you, Christina. It wasn't my daughter I was staring at. And I take off. I just take off running. Now, I do want to say that and I remember at the time of going in her house, I'm like, fuck this bitch. She sat there and let my dad get away with molesting me. She beat me all my life. She did this. But that's how I'm justifying taking her money in my head, because that's how addiction works, right? And to know I did that to my mom, no matter what has happened in my childhood, I feel like a worthless piece of shit. Flat out. I do want y'all to know that since then, and getting my life on the straight and narrow, not only have I paid my mom every dime of what I took from her, I've also paid her from her. I paid her triple that amount. By paying her insurance, by giving her money, by paying her phone bill, her rent, and things like that. I paid her bills and gave her money, because I hold extreme guilt over all of this, and that's just how it is. I still haven't forgiven myself. So, I just want y'all to know she did get paid back everything plus some. And the people that I took their iPad and stuff, they did get that back. But, the detective told me when he was talking to me, and I just wanted to make sure I put that in there because it's part of the story and I almost forgot about it. Now, when the detective was questioning me about everything, I was upfront and honest with him. I told him everything I remembered, and I remember him telling me, "Are you sure that's all you did?" And I was like, "Yes." He said, "Well, as the night goes on, if anybody calls in and says that their car has been burglarized, I will put the charges on you." So basically, even if I didn't do it and someone else had called with their car being got into, they were going to put it on me. I should have only had a couple of charges that night because from everything that happened. However, I did notice that they pinned more stuff on me than should have been pinned on me. I got like 2 or 3 extra charges. I could have fought it, but with me having to save money for a lawyer and have to handle everything with my kids, I just couldn't waste money or time trying to fight that. And I don't think I can do anything about it now. I think the time is ran out on that. I'm not sure. But, so I did get charged with a couple more charges than I should have. And I could have fought it. But I didn't. And not only that, when everything, they bounded my stuff up to the grand jury or whatever, I had a ticket for insurance where I didn't have proof of insurance because at that time I didn't have insurance on my car. Well, because that ticket was, I hadn't been to court or anything over that ticket, they bounded that upstairs with my other charges from all this that happened to the grand jury. So it's messed up. Anyways, I really rather not go into detail. I guess I can. Screw it. It just makes me sick to even say out loud, but I guess I can. I got stuck with 2 auto burglary charges, and I got stuck with 2 theft over $1,000s, which I'm not understanding how I even got 2 theft over $1,000s, because when I looked up the value of the iPad at the time, it wasn't but 900 and something, and I'm not sure where the extra charge of theft over $1,000 came in at, because nothing else was taken worth the value. And then my insurance ticket, when they bounded it upstairs to everything else, which was a whole separate ordeal from that situation anyways, they turned it into a felony. So, yeah. And I think I could have appealed all this before 2019. But because I didn't have the time or money to do that and focus on my kids too, I don't think there's anything I can do about it now. So I will live with that on my record for the rest of my life. And a couple of them charges shouldn't even be on there. And if I would have fought it, and I took the first plea deal they threw at me too, because my kid's birthday was right around the corner, and I had already sat in jail for 3 months when it already went down. I didn't want to sit in there any longer because the judge that I had breast cancer, and she had just had surgery. So that's why it took so long instead of just sending me in front of another judge. And I was scared if I sat in there any longer, I was going to miss their birthdays, which it doesn't matter. I should have sat in there anyways and fought it, because I ended up missing my kids' birthdays anyways because I was being kept from them. So it ended up not mattering anyways, and I should have just sat my ass in jail, because I could have gotten way less than what I got if I would have just fought a little harder. But my main concern at that time was getting out because of my kid's birthday coming up, and I was hoping that I was going to have everything taken care of by that time, which that's not what happened. I ended up missing my birthdays anyways and getting those charges pinned on me. If I do believe that if I would have fought, that one of the theft over 1,000s would have been thrown out because they could have pulled up the video footage. I didn't take anything else worth of value but the iPad, and the iPad was $900 and something when I checked. So I'm not sure how I got two theft over 1,000s. I couldn't tell you, but I know at least one of them would have been dropped. One of them, the other one would have been, ended up being maybe theft under 1,000 or theft over 500, one of the two. And the auto burglary, I could have probably got dropped down as well. And then the insurance one, I believe they would have thrown it out. But I took the first plea deal because I was too desperate to get out, because I was hoping to have all this with my kids handled by then, which obviously that's not what happened. So I screwed myself, and I was never able to get it taken care of. I was never able to appeal it because I had my kids to worry about and fighting for them, so I couldn't, you know what I mean? I don't know, I could have done so many things differently when it come to that whole situation. And it's very hard for me to talk about because I've never really talked about my charges before. I just hope that with telling this, I can help someone else not make the same mistakes, or I can let others know that they're not alone. My addiction turned me into someone that I didn't want to be either, and I hope with y'all hearing this story, y'all decide to still support me. It's very hard for me to come forward about all this. I've got to hold myself accountable, and now I'm holding myself accountable for the whole world to see. I'm ashamed of what I did, and I hate that the addiction turned me into someone I wasn't. And you know what's crazy about it? My drug of choice, which was pain pills, is not even what caused all this. It was Xanax. It's something that I rarely did, maybe once a month or so. I mean, I did it. I wouldn't say rarely did it, but I did it about once a month or so. So keep in mind when I say I did Xanaxes once a month or so, I am referring to when I was still in active addiction continuously. I'm not referring to the one relapse. Sometimes when I'm talking about things, I forget that I need to break them down better in the story time, because I know what I'm referring to, but not everybody else does. And people will twist things to their own narrative and context. So I want to make that clear. I'm referring to when I was in active addiction continuously, not talking about the relapse, because the relapse only happened one time. And I was clean for about 2 years before it happened. About 2 years, almost 2 years. Hold on. Let's see, February 2012. So February 2013. Oh, I was clean over 2 years. Whatever. The dates start running together. Unless I'm looking at documentation and stuff, I might be a little off as far as dates go. But, you know what I mean. So, I just want to make that clear. Okay, I'll let y'all go now. Telling y'all, leave them Xanaxes alone. They ain't no good. None of it's no good. And, it might numb your pain for a little bit, but like I said, when that high's gone, that pain is still there, and all it does is take everything from you. It changes you as a person. You will lose your loved ones due to it. It will strip you from everything. There are too many healthy ways of coping than to go to these links. I know sometimes it's easier just to take a bunch of drugs and zone out and not think about anything, but you need to feel the pain. You need to feel your emotions, because that's what makes you a stronger person, and that's how you get through everyday things. Please don't go out here numbing yourself with drugs, and please don't let your addiction get to the point that mine did, please don't take so much crap that you can't even remember what happened from one minute to the next. All it will leave you with is an empty life and a bunch of regrets. I do believe that me going about things in such foolish ways was God's way of helping me get caught so I could be stopped in my tracks and so I could learn from my mistakes. And if I can help, like I said before, if I can help just one person and save them from this life of destruction, then it was all worth it. I hope after this you still choose to support me. And if you've ever been through anything like this, I'm sorry. We can't change our past. All we can do is move forward and do better. Be better people. Help others. We can make a change is what we can do. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. So I hope y'all enjoyed that story. If y'all want to hear more story times about other arrests that I had, which I have ones that are even worse than that, unfortunately, then let me know. I will be telling the story about how my husband proposed, because in my last story time that was actually requested because I did mention it in my video. Just know that your life is worth so much more than getting drugged up every day. Know that your life is worth something and you have a purpose. I love you all so much, Skymar Nation, and thank you for being there and supporting me. You all have beautiful hearts, and y'all all are beautiful / handsome people, because we can't forget my guys. I just love you all so much, and just thank you for being there for me. And if y'all ever need me, just know I'm here for you as well. Until next time, bye!